Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rollin'. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters. And it's August 5th, 12 noon straight up. You've dialed into another edition of Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, number one computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached, money back guaranteed, $1 a day. A1 Law. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Appell. I'm joined by the madman across the water, John Scalia, as well as my chief of staff, Mike Zima. The public health director, oh guys, this is story number 9. The public health director of San Francisco on Tuesday urged residents to remain vigilant about face coverings and physical distancing, even as the number of COVID-19 hospitalizations and daily count of new cases have dropped. Dr. Grant Colfax, speaking at a virtual news conference, said about 90 cases are found among residents every day, a number that has dropped a bit from a high point 2 weeks ago. But it's still very concerning. The director said anything above 50 cases a day continues to put us in the red zone on high alert. And we have been there for about the last 6 weeks. And I heard something coming in, and I don't know this person. Doesn't sound very intelligent at all, but apparently there's a YouTube star. His name is Jake Paul, and I guess over the weekend he had a party with hundreds of people, and I don't know if there was a shooting there or something like that, but people. How stupid do you have to be? You don't want to throw a party with hundreds of people. You know they're not going to all be wearing masks. You know, Mike and I operate in the same office. We've got about 1,000 square feet. There's me, Mike, and our assistant. There's 3 of us. We social distance when necessary. When we go out to the halls in the elevator, we wear our mask. I've said before that out on the sidewalk when I'm downstairs on Van Nuys Boulevard in beautiful Southern California, smoking a cigarette, I'm not going to wear a mask, but if someone comes up close to me or I believe I'm going to be within 6 feet of someone for more than 5 seconds, I'm putting out that cigarette, I'm putting on my mask, or I'm walking away out in public, and I mean out on the sidewalk. I can't remember the last time I was, I don't even want to say in a group. I'm going to say around people inside of 6 feet for more than a couple of minutes for 6 people. And then, of course, I'm wearing my mask. And that's only happened a couple of times in the past 4 months. Yeah, I go to the market. I clearly bring a mask. I know there's 20, 30 people in there, but we're still practicing as much as possible. The social distancing. The most amount of people I've had in my home at one time was like 6 to 8 people. And I think we did that once or twice in the past 4 months. We were celebrating a special occasion, birthday, whatever the case may be. But throwing a party for hundreds of people, where's the intelligence factor there? It doesn't make sense. Teenagers, etc., having COVID-19 parties. How stupid can you really be? Folks, let's not get lax, okay? I've said it before.
Steve?
I'm sorry, what?
May I?
You may.
Okay. The non-wearing of masks at this party, as I understand it, it's the same party that I'm thinking of. Later on in the evening, there was gunplay. There was a lot of gunfire. One person ended up dead, and 2 people ended up going to the hospital. So they don't need COVID to kill themselves.
Yeah, how true, how true. And, bringing a gun to a party, that's a whole other issue, which I don't even want to comment on that. I don't even want to comment on that. But the main point of my rant is let's not get lax, okay? The danger from the virus is real, but if you just act responsibly, wear the mask, appropriately social distance, the chances of contracting the virus in public is really minimal. You want to go to a party with hundreds of people, even dozens of people, you are increasing your chances tenfold, if not hundredsfold, of getting the virus. And then even if you're a youngster and your chances of having symptoms are minimal to none, the chances of you spreading it to someone who has comorbidities or who can react more adversely is increased exponentially. So people, let's continue to be smart. Let's continue to be responsible. Don't do stupid things. Mike?
Thank you. I'd like to read a story about one of my guys, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Sherman, an NFL player from the streets of Compton who went to Stanford University and just happens to be one of the smartest guys in the NFL and also one of the most ferocious, by the way, okay? There were no reporters around Richard Sherman as he took the stage inside the Levi Stadium Auditorium Tuesday for his first interview session of the summer. But he wore his mask anyway, with an understanding it would be an important message to send to anyone watching. Sherman's news conferences, after all, have a tendency to go viral. And I'd just like to know, Mr. Trump, maybe you should take a lesson from Mr. Sherman, Mr. Yosemite. Thank you.
Mike, what was Sherman's news conference about?
Who knows? Most of these news conferences, I mean, at least at this point, yeah, it's a different thing with COVID. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the beginning of the season. Yeah, we take them one day at a time. I mean, I could write the script, although it's a little bit different now because of COVID. But generally, they ask the same questions. Frankly, I don't know what it was about.
Well, I am familiar with Richard Sherman. He's got a couple of Super Bowl rings. He is a defensive football player. He's one of the smartest players out there. He's one of the most talented players out there. And additionally, one of the most colorful players out there. But he is one example of he who not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. John?
And I also love.
Go ahead, Mike.
I also love one of his quotes. Not everybody from Compton is a gangbanger. Thank you, John.
Yeah, I was gonna point out, even though you guys didn't specifically mention it, that Richard Sherman is African American.
Yes, thank you.
What you're talking about fits right into right in the article I'm going to read, which comes from Sports Illustrated. It needs a little background, just in case you're wondering. And here's the background: college football is a multi-billion, that's right, billion with a B, industry. It's regulated by the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association. Don't get me started on a rant with them. And it's influenced very strongly by the commissioners of the various power leagues. Now, as you may well know, or as you might suspect, most of those people, the overwhelming majority of those people, are white. College football, on the other hand, especially at the Division I money-making level, is played mostly by people like Richard Sherman, who are not white. So, and they're being asked in various stages to go back to some camps, and some of the numbers in some of the southern states where they've already opened up the football camps, the coronavirus is spreading like mad. So with that background, a group of players from the Pac-12 players signed a letter to the commissioner of the Pac-12. That's the College Football League of the Western, UCLA, USC, Stanford, et cetera, and they were threatening to boycott the season, and they made certain demands. Now, the commissioner has responded, and this is the article in Sports Illustrated. Pac-12 commissioner responds to football players threatening to boycott 2020 season. Personally, I think respond should have been in quotes. Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott is open to holding dialogue with a group of league football players who are threatening to boycott the 2020 football season, according to a letter that Scott sent the group Monday. Sports Illustrated obtained a copy of the two-page letter, which Scott wrote in response to the hashtag #WeAreUnited campaign's letter Sunday. Pac-12 officials are reviewing hashtag #WeAreUnited's list of demands and documents, Scott says in the 1,400-word response sent at 7 p.m. Eastern Time Monday. We are eager to hear more about your concerns and very happy to discuss, Scott writes. I will come back to you in the coming days following discussion with our members and student-athlete leaders to schedule a call for this week to discuss the matters that you have raised. A Pac-12 spokesman declined comment Monday evening when contacted about the letter. And it goes on to say that Scott goes on to tell the players about all the safety protocols that the Pac-12 has in place, which, as we all know, is bunkum based on what's already happened and the football teams that are reporting back. So this goes to both Black Lives Matter, coronavirus, and the disproportionate effect it's having on African Americans. This is a group of healthy young African Americans, largely, who are saying, your protocols are great because, you're making $1 billion and you're more interested in having a PR release than whether or not we get sick and die from coronavirus. So, Mike?
Thank you for that. Health plans offered through Covered California, the health insurance exchange, will increase premiums by a statewide average of 0.6% next year. Health insurers reported strong profits in the second quarter of 2020 as their expenses plunged because of fewer surgeries and patient visits for non-COVID treatment. And editorial comment, I'd like to see if the health insurance premiums are going to drop as a result of that, but I doubt it. John?
Okay, this is an honor. This is an honor of Steve because he and I always have this disagreement about statistics, as you know.
Okay. And I wasn't prepped for this, but I like that. So I get to respond on the spur of the moment, and then we'll go to the break. Okay, as the old saying goes, John, hit me with your best shot.
Well, actually, this is to back up what you were saying earlier about the party. And here it goes. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. It says, if 25 people gather in San Francisco, odds are 34% that at least one has coronavirus. New tool shows risk. Because you can't see the coronavirus and many infected with it show no symptoms, it can be difficult to grasp how risky a certain situation is. But a new online tool is making that calculation a bit easier for people in the Bay Area and beyond. The interactive map, developed by professors at Georgia Tech, lets people explore the odds that coronavirus will be present at an event anywhere in the U.S., depending on the event's size and the county in which it's located. The map calculates the likelihood of whether each gathering would include someone who is currently infectious. A quick browse through the map yields some troubling numbers. If you're in San Francisco County and decide to attend a gathering of 25 people, there's a 34% chance that someone who's coronavirus positive will be in attendance. In Marin County, the risk is 75%. In Alameda County, it's 31%. Increase the gathering size to 50, and the risk goes up significantly. In San Francisco County, the likelihood is 56%. In Marin County, it's 94%. Santa Clara, San Mateo, Alameda, and Sonoma counties all hover around the 52 to 56% range. Zoo calculates the odds that at least one person at the event is infectious. It does not indicate your own risk, of coronavirus exposure or infection at the event. Now, I would say this, and this is back when I was in high school, so I'm going way back in the neurons in my brain. I remember we had this really easy sort of an algebraic exercise, and the question was, how many people does it take in a room so that the odds become 50-50 that two of them have the same birthday? And of course, when you look at that, you say, well, there's 365 days in a year. So, you must need at least half that number so that two of them would have a better than 50% chance of having the same birthday. And the answer is no. The answer is it's something like 45. And I've forgotten how to do the math and I haven't tried to go back, but actually it's really simple math. It sounds like the same sort of simple math was used to calculate this chart.
All right. Well, John, thank you very much for that. My name's Steve Appell. You're dialed into Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, number one computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached, money back guaranteed, $1 a day, A1 Law. Mike was talking earlier about Yosemite. Well, here's something along those lines, guys. Story number 15, Clorox. Disinfectant wipes sold out everywhere as the coronavirus pandemic hit the United States and have been hard to find ever since. Don't expect that to change anytime soon, Clorox says. The company, which accounts for 45% of the disinfectant wipes market, says it won't be stocking wipes in full until mid-2021, CNN reports. However, my understanding is that all of their injectable hypodermics are stashed up and have been pulled off the shelf. Nope, that's just a joke. I'm just kidding. The reaction, it was not funny at all. Mike?
Decline in COVID cases may be a technical glitch. A steep decline in California's coronavirus infection rate announced this week by the GAV may not be accurate, according to the state's top public health official, who said Tuesday that the state's data system used to process COVID-19 test results is marred with technical issues. The problems have caused delays in analyzing test results and cast doubt on the GAV's announcement Monday of a 21.2% decline in the 7-day average rate for positive infections compared with the average from the week before. And folks, I mean, we're this far along in this pandemic and we're still seeing crap like this. Sorry, John.
Well, this is from the Los Angeles Times. Union reports 30 coronavirus cases at Westlake Food for Less. 30 cases of the novel coronavirus have been reported at a Food for Less in Westlake, as the union that represents grocery store workers in Los Angeles demanded that the business institute better protocols to protect its staff. In a media release, the United Food and Commercial Workers Local 770 announced a demonstration Wednesday at the Food for Less at 1700 West 6th Street to demand measures such as regular testing for workers and transparency about infections at stores run by Kroger Company, which operates the Food for Less and Ralph's supermarket chains. Kathy Finn, the union's secretary-treasurer, said workers are also asking that the business enforce social distancing, temperature checks of employees, and mask wearing among customers, and that it provides sufficient gloves in various sizes for employees. Workers, she said, have noted that the store is so crowded that they do not have enough time to disinfect their stations or wash their hands. The real problem with all of this is inconsistency, she said. If they enforce the mask rule a bit better part of the day, but don't do it consistently, it's not that helpful. They need a list of protocols to follow, and they have to follow them 100%. These are people's lives and people's health on the line. They should be doing a better job. Again, editorial comment here. There's a parallel between that and the article I read about the football players. Both, in both instances, we have what amounts to labor, although the NCAA hates that word. In fact, they've just gone to Congress and asked to be exempted from the antitrust laws. But in both cases, we have the labor force saying management is not taking care of us, and management in both cases apparently is not really willing to respond adequately. Mike?
Well, John, I mean, I've heard that at the NCAA level, I don't want to say unionization, but it's getting close to it. They won the right to their likenesses last year. I don't know whether you remember that.
That was started by Ed O'Bannon, the guy who played basketball at UCLA.
Was that Ed O'Bannon's deal? Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It started because Ed O'Bannon was playing a EA Sports game in which you could be him as one of the players, right? And O'Bannon saw it and he said, wait a minute, I'm not getting any money from this. And so then he contacted EA Sports and they said, yeah, that's right. Because when you sign for your athletic scholarship at UCLA, in case you didn't read the fine print, it says that your likeness is ours forever and you can't make any money from it.
Whoa. Well, as an aside, John, I just want to check your neurons and your synapses here. Do you recall what the call was on the radio when Ed O'Bannon made a good play back in the day?
No, I don't.
Uh-oh, Ed-oh. Just wanted to let you boys and girls out there know that, maybe get the synapses going. Okay. As a more detailed picture of the new online-only school day in Los Angeles emerges, a crescendo of concerns is arising among parents whose children will be expected to fire up computers in less than 2 weeks for the opening of the 2020-21 school year. Some parents worry that the new schedule and rules will result in more intense demands to carry out a role that many say they are not qualified to handle, that of co-teacher. Quote, the school district doesn't understand we're not qualified to answer a lot of questions our kids are asking, end quote, said Adriana Ruiz, a mother of 5 in Cudahy. John?
Yeah, that reminded me of my elementary school experience. I went to a Catholic elementary school. And one year there was only one teacher who was not a nun, and I had her one year. And she was really, she just didn't know how to keep discipline in the class, because with the nuns, obviously it was no problem. But, she was just terrible. And so we came back to school the next year, and the teacher, the nun who was going to teach us that year said, and what did you learn last year in class? And of course I raised my hand immediately. And the teacher, knowing that I was the smartest kid in the class, called on me right away. And she said, so John, what did you learn last year? And I said, nothing.
Now, was that at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Elementary School, John?
Yeah, in Daly City, yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have
another? She didn't know what to do with it. And she kept saying, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
You nah. Both of you had your chance. Come on. The California Nurses Association. This is story number 22. The California Nurses Association plans to stage rallies at nearly 70 hospitals and medical centers today to protest waivers that allow facilities to staff some units below the state-mandated nurse-patient ratios as nurses are shifted to more critical patients. This story actually could have been the first story that I read. The union fears the shuffling will place a heavier load on nurses in non-critical departments and increasingly high patient loads. Okay, what does all that mean? Basically, there are many nurses all across the state of California, I think, that are on strike today because what they claim is a lack of PPE, personal protection equipment. In this day and age, we're 4+ months into the coronavirus, COVID-19. It blows my friggin' mind that nurses are on strike because they cannot get personal protection equipment. I mean, is this all just BS? I have to believe it's real. With all the money that the Gav is spending on masks, how come the PPE is not reaching our nurses on the front line? I have no friggin' idea. Mike, John?
Well, I have an idea.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, the money that he's spending on masks are not the kind they need and the nurses need. They need the N95. And the real answer is the same answer you get for every problem with the American health system, which is that despite the fact that because for tax reasons, they are allegedly nonprofit, it's all run for money. It's all run for profit. And so, they have a supply line like any business, which is they have a supply line that's based on their ordinary experience and for ordinary cases. This is a pandemic. They don't have anything in line for that. They don't have any readiness for it, and they have no preparation for it. Because it's not part of the profit loss scheme. It's that simple, really.
Mike, did you want to comment before I close the show?
Nope, go right ahead.
And I got to agree once again with John Scalia, as I've said many times on the show, well, we've all said and or agreed, when in doubt, follow the money. It's been a pleasure having another edition, being part of another edition, being able to podcast another edition, being able to afford to put out another edition of Work Comp Matters. I want to thank the madman across the water, John Scalia, my chief of staff, the doctor, but he's not a medical doctor, Mike Zima, the talented Scott Walton of legendary Uncle Studios, all the good people back at work at the Work Comp Central and A1 Law. My name is Steve Appell. We'll see you again tomorrow at noon for another edition of Work Comp Matters.